Yeah, so the first decision that when I came in I made was there really wasn't a brand when I came in. She was private labeling. Oh, sorry, there's my dog. She was private labeling and had this business name called NW Sales Connection, which was more of just like a overarching business name, and she had a couple different private labels under that name. And so my first decision was to drop the NW Sales Connection. One of the private labels was called the name of the business, and I basically turned the entire business into that private label. That was day one. We flipped everything over, and we ditched the NW Sales Connection. And that was the first big decision that really helped us start to develop a brand, and which, we'll talk about more branding and all of that. That's kind of what's helped us grow so much. But the next big decision was, we were really, when I came in, it was an Amazon business. 90% of our revenue came through Amazon. And my work over the past 6 years has been shifting all of that towards our personal website, which is hosted on Shopify. And so right now we're currently sitting at about 65% of our business is through our own website, D2C website, and maybe around 30% is on Amazon, and then the other 5% is just some smaller Walmart business that we do. But that was huge for branding, and it still is, and we're still working to shift that number more and more towards our own website. That's probably the biggest decision we've made in the past 5 years, is really taking that leap and going away from Amazon. And in that time, our website has, I want to say, we've gone from I think we've eight xed. I don't even know what the word for that would be, but we've 8xed what we were doing on our website, compared to what we're at right now. So that's probably the biggest decision we've had to make, and it is a really scary decision, just because Amazon brings customers to you, and you don't have to have much marketing expertise. It's, obviously the biggest shopping platform, probably the biggest website in the world. Um, and that took a lot of persuading my mom to take that leap, just because things were going well on Amazon. But when you look at, the nitty gritty, the financials of what you're actually making on Amazon, it can be very tough for businesses, just because it's like 22% off the top. In our niche, that's what the fee they take just for their referral fee. And so if you factor in, shipping costs, you factor in, the PPC marketing, all of that, you can look up to like 40% just off the top that Amazon is taking off of your sales. And when you're talking about, selling on your own website, pretty much the only fee you're subjected to is like a 1.5% credit card processing fee. So obviously, when you look at those two numbers compared to each other, you can see the opportunity is huge moving towards your own website. And then scaling more horizontally, we really, when I came in, the only thing we sold was technical ski gear, which is pretty niche, but it was doing well. We're really the only people that are occupying this niche. And my work over the past 5, 6 years is figuring out, how do we widen the breadth of what we can sell. And that has been extremely successful for us. It's, that's what's allowed us to kind of have more of a year-round business than what we used to have. I'd say historically, 75 to 80% of our revenues came from November through the end of January. And now, maybe 50% of our revenues come from November to January, and the other 50% is, March all the way back through October. So, that's been a huge ongoing work for us, is finding, how do we occupy a space where we aren't necessarily so hyper reliant on seasonality. And we've done that just through scaling into rain jackets, lightweight soft shell jackets, rain pants, rain bibs, hiking pants, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's been a huge, huge undertaking for us.